Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is a new segment or a new form of video that I have decided to do. It's called the process of art making, and from drawing to sketchbook journaling. So I think it will be really fun. And the tulips outside my house is blooming very nicely, and so I will just walk you guys through. Okay, so the first thing is I identify that, and I know that I need to do this sketchbook. And what I'm doing here is just doing the general form, and that's how I do my drawing. I usually look at something, and as with flower it is a little bit easier, and I identify that of course the tulips are kind of oval, but you will see how I would observe the flower and change as I go. But and then at parts where I don't feel like I needed to talk, of course I probably will not talk. And on this part of the drawing, I am actually doing the regular speed, and then when I paint I will speed it up a little bit, a little more than one, I think. Not quite two. We'll see. I forgot. I think it is not quite two. Anyway, I know that some of you would not like the speeding process. Now this is not really a paint along. It's mainly I really wanted to show you guys the method that I developed from reading books and observing. I kind of combine a lot of things together to help myself learn how to draw. Okay, now this is still, at this point I'm still at a roughly drawing the petals. Since I always find that if I draw a shape, it is easier for me. Now at this point I actually am beginning to realize that the tulip is more, it needed to have a more of a flat surface, a flat area in the bottom, okay, from observing. And so I do that. Instead of going with the oval, I kind of, as I go, I change the bottom. Now for me, I think that with this way of drawing, I have 1, 2, or 3 chance to make sure I get the line correctly. And so I guess with the oval, you kind of go with the oval first, and then you observe carefully with the flower and see that there are places where you needed to be a little bit more careful with the shape. Maybe it's stricter on the side than a regular oval, and so that will be the time when I correct it during the pencil drawing. Okay, and then you will see that in a little while I will go into the ballpoint. I think I use a ballpoint pen. I like ballpoint pen after the pencil drawing because it's not as dirty, like meaning that the graphite will not rub off my hand. And then and then I can almost make a ballpoint pen appear like it is a pencil drawing by the pressure that I exert on the pen. And so you will see that in a minute. But at this part I am still trying to get the petal and the position ready. It is kind of fun. The minute I sat down, I really enjoyed it because the breeze were blowing. It's still springtime, and so it's cool outside. And at first I decided maybe just to take the pictures and then come inside to do the drawing, but then I love it so much outside. Now over here I am holding the camera myself, so I kind of miss a little bit. But don't worry though, I already get all the kinks worked out. I will have a GoPro for me to film outside, and clipboard. But if you're interested, I'll talk about that more, my filming. And so I already have all those set up. I just thought that it is really important, and I think some of you might be really interested in because with my art, like paint along, and like I say, these are not meant to be paint along, but with my art I usually through the years I develop a most efficient way for somebody who doesn't like really go for officially training, to how to observe. And so I observe and draw correctly. And so you might like to see that and maybe see if you can apply that, because to be honest with you, I find my drawing a lot more fun. I absolutely love watercolor though, right? But my first love really is drawing. And so this is actually the part I have already established or drawn out, um, the the head of the tulip, and now I'm going down to the leaves. And my daughter was actually sitting right next to me. I think at this point she might have started filming, and she said, "Mom, just let me do it this time for you." And so she started filming over here, and so I can focus even more. And I was so excited about so many different shapes of the leaf that I have observed. Now, when I'm doing here is I'm already switched over to the ballpoint pen, right? I'm using it to draw the values, meaning the dark and the light, and it's quite fun. And in a minute, I'll actually show you how I do actually the blossom, the flower part. Okay. So I am drawing what I see, and where is the darker part, and where are the lighter part, and I think though during the real painting time, I usually would use my artist's license, if you can call that, or my preference to actually make the form look better. It's nice that I have music going so you guys can hear the music when my voice is not talking. And so this is the time where I'm going back to the blossom, and I think that I am also looking at the value where the shading of the tulips are to bring out the form, right? And so it will be more of an egg shape instead of just oval. And this is the second time I will come in, and if I see any need to correct the mistake that I made with the pencil, then this will be the time. And I'll go through this process even if I'm looking at an image from a screen. Okay, I'm correcting the shape, right? You can tell, because I say, oh, it droops down a little bit more than the first time I observed. So I find that that's very beneficial, because then I can keep correcting it until I find that, the best form that I can convey, and then I will stop there. And right over here, I am actually trying to use the darker to convey the middle part, right? And when I'm doing the painting, you will see what that part is doing. And so this is really a sketchbook, and this is where I'm trying to develop the form now. When I use the sketchbook, that's when I try to I will actually use a lot of different color, and I'll show you in a minute, and trying to make a mistake or trying to try things so that I can say, hey, this work or this doesn't work. And so it's very fun. And I decided to I hand make this sketchbook myself, because it's very hard to buy a sketchbook out there that has Arches watercolor paper, right? And so I take a bunch of my paper, I cut that, and then I make it into this very simple sketchbook, because I wanted from now on to keep these sketches, because one is they're pretty, and second, because there's mistake, and I will actually put down the mistake that I made, so that when I look back, and maybe next year I want to do a tulips again, I can come back and look at this. Not just mistake, and also sometimes maybe new discovery, things that I think, hey, it is very good to do this, then I will actually put it on the sketchbook, and then it will help me, then I don't have to relearn it. I'm getting old, and it is very good to not to challenge my brain, or to trust that I can actually remember things, right? Okay, now all the forms are formed, and I think at this point, I'm actually putting in color. Okay, very simple. Now I think that over here the speed is actually speed up a little bit. But like I say, it's not meant for a paint along, so it's just for you to see how I practice. And the process of making art, I think, is quite interesting, and I hope you guys like it too. Now I think that in a minute after this patch is almost dry, I actually drop in I'll show you, I'll drop in a red color to see if I can, because I felt that that's what I saw on the tulips. And it's very easy for us, because all the dark part is there with the ballpoint pen, right? And so we don't need to work so hard on that. But I think with this tulip, I will make it into a painting. And so when it's uploaded, of course, I wouldn't. It will be a little too hard for me to make sure. Okay, that's the red color that I talk about. Okay, I try to drop some red color in there, and I find out I didn't like it, and I changed to quinacridone violet. Okay, for the darker part, because you can see that the value didn't change with the red color, with the magenta, and so that is not good. Okay. Now, what I was also beginning to tell you is because we have the ballpoint pen and the value already established, so we don't need to work as hard. And I think that's kind of fun, because after you have drawn it, you will remember it. And so when you do the final watercolor painting, then you wouldn't, struggle and say, hey, what am I supposed to do? And so that's the part, the good part about practicing. Yes, and so this is where I decide to try the quinacridone violet as the darker color. And I think you guys remember I always say don't just put one color, purple or pink, onto a flower. Try to do maybe minimum 2 color to give it to variety. It really does wake up the flower, or wake up any painting, to be honest. I have a sneeze going on. I hope I don't start sneezing. It is the saddest thing. I just eat a little bit of dairy by accident, and I think that, it's working up into a sinus infection. I sure hope it won't. The Chinese, we have this tea, chrysanthemum tea, that we drink if we know that our qi is getting a little inflammatory, and sometimes it will stop infection in the tract. But we'll see if it's working for me. It still hasn't. I'm still suffering a little bit. But here I'm just dropping in color. Isn't that fun? And I know that this is a sketchbook, right? And so I don't have to worry. It is for my reference, so I can make all the mistake that I wanted. And I am quite actually correct, not 100%, with the placement of the tulips, but I think I have already, through my research, I wanted to do them a little bit different for my final watercolor, the paint along. And of course, you guys don't have to worry. Of course, I'm going to do that also. But this is, I was trying to show you, I used the violet. Voiceover is kind of fun because when you're painting, doing the actual painting, you're thinking, now what do I need to show people for the voiceover, right? Now here I'm developing the form again. I make that more of an egg shape. Actually, it's a tulip shape because it's more, an egg is not that square in the bottom or flat in the bottom. And then I'm trying to use the value, right? I'll be able to show you, use the darker violet for the middle part, so it looks more like that. The middle part is going in. It doesn't look like a petal. Hey, I'm liking this voiceover. It's kind of nice, So I will start doing that, and so there will be 2 kinds. It's the journey of art making, and also the paint along. Okay, so that will be fun. Then I think I will share some of my knowledge of how to draw with you guys too. And the next time, with the next drawing, I actually had done a ladybug, but I'm not sure it was good enough to upload. I'll think about it, but then I will go through drawing with you guys too, okay? And I think that will be something that you can see if you like it, and be able to use it. I find that it's simple. It's good for people like me, and I hope it's good for beginner too, that you but I also have gadget though. Sometimes I use a little thin brush, and sometimes I actually had a gadget that I will show you maybe next time, or maybe when I'm doing the paint along, because then I have more time over there. It's a gadget to measure proportion. It's a engineering gadget. I like to use that, or sometimes if I forgot to bring that, I will just use a brush. Yeah, this part I'm trying to try out the green. I think I only use perlin green so far, and sap green, and didn't worry about the indigo, but I think I did use indigo in a minute here. Hey, even though this part is speed up, you guys can hardly tell, right? I can hardly tell, and it still gives me enough time to explain what I'm doing. I know that when you're trying to paint along, everyone, including me, dislike. What am I doing? I'm gone for so long here. We dislike speeding, because it is, like some of you say, that it is a little bit deceiving. It discourages people and make people think that you can paint as fast. But I hope you guys understand that I am not trying to make you guys think that you can paint as fast as, and not in the way that you can paint as fast as 1.5 time or 1.6 time, right? And so I wanted to tell you guys that ahead of time that is the speed that is going. And so, like, you can see how nice it is, right? I have all those hatch mark from the ballpoint pen, and then I just use that. But I think that I dropped some indigo earlier in the other two leaves, and now there it goes, because I wanted to use the hatch mark but not dependent on it for my sketchbook, because then it is the second time I practice, right? The second time I practice the value, so what you can see right here is, you can see that the outer part of the leaf is greener, and the inner part of the leaf is I use indigo to show you. Okay, now over here, this leaf, I actually saw a big sunlight spot, and so I was like, oh, I'm going to capture that. But so I hope that it looks okay and it looks good. But I'm very happy now. I have all these shapes leaf when we're doing the paint along, then it'll be really fun. And that one I will go at your speed, of course, as always. It wouldn't change anything from usual. And sometimes when I do these the process of art making, it might just be to show you something challenging, to draw, or maybe a little bit challenging. I don't know if some people find flowers challenging, and it was never challenging to me. When I do the ladybug, I also use the general shape. I don't know if I'll show that. Maybe I will. I'll see how hard it is to voice over that one, okay? And see if I can upload that, and so you guys can see that. Now at this point, I'm just, these marks coming from the edge of the flower is actually part of the flower, as you can see, so I'm very loosely putting those marks on there, so that I'm true to the flower, right, to the shape and the form and the nature of the tulips. I think that if you would do sketchbook drawing, okay, or practicing, it will be very, very good to help that you're not too tight with watercolor. And you can see that you still see that red mark on my first try, right, with that first tulip, and I'm fine with it. It is for my benefit. Nobody can tell. Now, what I'm doing is, I am at this point getting ready to show you guys how to do now this circle that I'm ready, is really too big, right? You can see some dewdrop on the first picture of the tulip, but now I'm exaggerating the size of the dewdrop, so that I can show you guys how to do that, and with my practicing, okay? Like, you can see how loose I am with the painting. Okay, so I make this tulip blossom a little bit bigger, so that you guys can see. I learned my dewdrop from my first watercolor, teacher that I had taken for 2 months. I think it's about 2 months time. And I think she left to go to Texas, and so it was fine with me, and I beginning just to start doing the Asian watercolor at home anyway. And the dewdrop was her thing. She liked to do dewdrop. And then ever since then, I've practiced, and done it. And but I have never really, tried to show you guys. And I think from this point on, we will, if the chance is there, we will do dewdrops, because I think it's kind of sparkle. It really is like a jewel. It's like a diamond. Okay, now I'm pulling the color out. And so because on the dewdrop there should be, you guys don't have to worry though if I don't explain carefully, because I will do it in my real paint along. Okay, the color of the dewdrop usually is a little bit lighter than the real flower, because you're seeing it through water. Okay, and so now right here you can see it in more of a detail how I'm darkening the part of the inside of the tulip. Okay, and I use the quinacridone violet to accentuate the overlapping of the flowers in the middle. Okay, now over here I do a dark with the violet, and then I pull the color out. Okay, I pull the color out. And then the inside you still need a little bit magenta, but it's lighter value than the color that is around it. Okay, and this is where the dewdrop is actually casting a shadow, and I will do that slowly with you when I do the paint along. Okay, it's actually casting a shadow, and so all dewdrop, they stand out. They're like a dome, right? Of course they will cast a shadow, but you have to be careful where the sun is coming from and where you will see the shadow. Every time is different. I'm using a white marker. It's actually an oil paint marker to do because I want to hit it right away. Okay, now that is the highlight where the sun shines, and it's the highlight, and there's your dewdrop. There's nothing really, you just need someone to just kind of, give you a tip, right? And so, like over here, we are doing the same, the stem, but I think I will actually go and develop the form of the, okay. I'm trying to show you that it is a dewdrop. Okay, and that's it. We'll say goodbye, and I will see you guys next time. Okay.